If you've ever gotten into an elevator and pushed all of the buttons in a very, very tall building, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. It is time for another day of trading. We are one day closer to NVIDIA's earnings. I know everybody can't wait, so let's just dive right in.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Hello and welcome everybody, and good morning and welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday night, and I hope that you're ready for the market today. Here to break everything down, my main man, 13. How are you doing here this morning, dude?
I'm doing pretty good. A little tired, but that's just how mornings are. Fear not, I've got my coffee with me, so that'll change by the time the show's over.
Okay, awesome. I got to get locked and loaded with the coffee. You know, I'm a big supporter of that. Okay, let's just dive right in here. We're going to start with the SPY. Let's see, what am I? Here we go. Okay. We're going to start with the SPY here. We're still kind of consolidating right up near these previous all-time highs. I guess we haven't really tested that level in full yet, so maybe it's not technically a double top, but we're in that same area. Today here in the pre-market, SPY is a little bit weak. It was actually up a little bit, but it's since gone red here, so it does look like, at least in the pre-market, we're going down. My question to the group here is, are we setting a bear trap? Are we getting ready to maybe move up and run up into earnings? 13, what kind of levels are you looking at here on the SPY? And what are your thoughts here with what we're about to see here today?
For the downside, I'm looking at 557 and 555. Those have been what we saw on, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday when we had that big engulfing candle. We hit both of those levels to the downside. We had a brief bounce at 557, and then we had a reversal at 555. So those can be my downside targets. We also have a trend line that is coming up to provide support as well. That's going to be at about 557.50 that the price is going to interact it with. So we might see some support there. I'm sorry, I got an eyelash in my eye.
That happens, man. Have you ever had an eyelash? That
there you go. That's for tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. So let me just deal with that while I'm talking. But so to the upside, I'm still looking at 565 and 16 cents, the previous all-time high, or the current all-time high. I mean, that's really what I have to the upside. We could see some resistance at 560. We did get a little bit of support there yesterday, so I think that'd be a bit of a level as well. It's also a psych level, but those would be my particular levels to the downside: 557 and 555, and to the upside, 560 and 565.16.
Okay, we'll see if we get that here today. I was listening to pre-market prep before we came on. Joel was kind of saying that this feels like this is going to be a choppy day. I tend to agree with them. We'll see how this plays out here, but I would agree with them. One of the other things that we've kind of noticed recently is when the market does move down in the pre-market, it seems that buyers are a little bit more apt to step in shortly after the open. So it'll be interesting to see if we get the same type of thing here today. Okay. Let's go ahead and break down some of these movers, and then we'll go ahead and take charts from the chat. There, I was glad I was able to get that one out. I thought I was going to screw that one up. Let's start here with ADXN. This is Adex Therapeutics having a really good morning. Stock was just under $8 yesterday. Today, we actually popped above 12. We're beneath 12 right now, but we're flirting with that level. The other thing is that we're doing a pretty good job staying above that VWAP, which is definitely something that I want to see. 13, as you pointed out earlier, we are in a gap, right? We on the daily chart here, we have popped into the middle of the gap. It looks to me, if I turn this VWAP off here, looks to me that the bottom end of that gap fills about 14, maybe 13.96. If I'm estimating correctly, that looks like that was that is a candle. So that is going to be the bottom of the gap there. We'll see if we're able to close that gap off here today. Catalyst here, Adex Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company and Indivior, probably is how it's pronounced, selected clinical catalysts from their GABAB positive allosteric modular research collaboration. Didn't think I was going to struggle that much on the first one here today. The company is eligible for up to $330 million of achievements of milestones and royalties. That's what's popping here. In fact, as we're talking here, it's now popping above 12. 13, what do you got here? Ticker ADXN.
Yeah, so this company is eligible for up to 330 million in royalties and milestones with this, I guess we'll call it a bit of a partnership with this clinical candidate selection with the other company you mentioned. This is going up to 1260 right now, and I think this could end up going right to 14 as we fill this gap. What happens at 14? Not quite sure. This is a very thin name right here with 837,000 shares in the float. So this could easily just get pushed up. Let's see what happens at 1260 here. That was that's the current pre-market high. So that's the current level to get over. And then after that, I would say 1340 would be next before 14. Don't really have anything other than that, but it does need cash because even though they are going to be eligible for up to that 330 million that I mentioned, they still don't have a whole lot on the balance sheet right now. And I'd be questioning if they can go on with another quarter without an infusion of cash before they start getting this 330 that we're talking about here. So I think they would have to raise at some point, but might not be today. Just let's see what happens with this the $14 price target that I have here on this gap fill.
All right, Smoke Tuna saying that the float for ADXN 34.25 million. Smoke Tuna, I'm getting a massively different reading here. I have the same one as 13 at 837,000. Now, float is definitely one of those metrics that's really difficult to pin down and different between provider to provider, but I wonder what the discrepancy is there. Nonetheless, it does look really strong here in the pre-market. No position here in the pre-market. There we go through 1260 as we were talking and a new high. Brian, yeah, that's going to make a new high for the day. And a new high. So well done, Brian. Absolutely, it did. We'll see what happens here when the market actually opens. ADXN, this one might be the stock du jour. 1281 now the price. Next here on the list is going to be TRIB. This is ticker TIRB. This is Trinity Biotech. Trinity Biotech shares are trading higher after the company announced an increase in projected revenue for its TrinScreen HIV to 10 million from 8 million. So it looks like a boost in projected revenue by about $2 million here. This stock popped and really kind of held yesterday in the after hours. It's popped again here today, and we've given everything back and traded back down to the consolidation area for yesterday. 13, what are you thinking here on TRIB?
Well, it's nice that they have projected increase in revenue. I don't know how that's going to affect their quarterly report, which they already are showing they have revenue. But if you look at their balance sheet, the big thing that stands out to me is that they have just way too much debt. So, and they also have a shelf offering that's out there still. I think they only, I'm not sure if they fully exercised it or not, or made the full offer or not yet. But I think that they still may raise some cash because they're going to need it, especially with all the debt they have. 3.87 million shares in the float. They did a reverse split earlier this year on February 23rd. But that's it was a 1 for 5. But other than that, I really think they just they need to take care of that debt because it is negatively affecting their equity.
Indeed, Nabil here saying no bueno in my opinion. I think you're referring to TRIB and looking at the chart. Looking at the chart here, I don't disagree either. Yikes! As we continue to break away from the VWAP here.
This could be stupid, and it could actually find a bottom and then just rip up and then sell off again. Kind of like how it did in the pre-market here. You see how we just kind of got this really choppy price action maybe about half an hour ago. Mm-hmm. It could end up doing that after finding a bottom when we open. So just something that you could keep an eye on if you're looking to trade that. Otherwise, yeah, I agree. This is really junk. Yeah,
Smoke Tuna here saying TRIB, I think 280 needs support or else it's too weak. We're actually not far away from that, Tuna, so we'll see if that level gets tested and held. Yeah. Really quickly here, Carm, good morning. It's great to see you. Just clicked in. Did we talk about ENSC? No, we did not. We normally don't cover penny stocks in the pre-market rundown here, but We don't have a huge list here today, and since you asked so nicely, maybe we'll just go ahead and do that right now, Carm, since I know that you're here. It does have a really good setup. This actually might be the penny stock du jour. You guys know my thought here on penny stocks. I'm not even going to bore you with it. Ensysce Biosciences shares are trading higher after the company received a $14 million multi-year grant from the NIH for the continued development of a drug with a whole bunch of letters and numbers that I'm not going to butcher, an abuse deterrent opioid with overdose protection. So you can see that the volume here is substantial this morning. We popped from about 43 cents up to 88 cents. So we had a double here already in the pre-market. We've come back in towards the VWAP. We're pushing away. That's what's going on here with ENSC. I would guess based on this PR, this is probably the penny stock du jour. So we'll see if that holds up here.
Federal $14 million grant. Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Federal $14 million grant for pain therapy. So yeah, 87 cents is your pre-market high. That would be where I expect it to, or is this after hours? No, I'm sorry, this is after hours. But anyway, it's the non-regular session high, 87 cents. This looks like it could get to $1 today. Don't know what happens after it does, though.
Okay. You're okay. All good. Sorry, just taking care of the schedule here for today. I apologize for that. Alyssa is just out here with all of the current trendy internet lingo. Alyssa, we appreciate you and everything that you do. Okay, let me keep moving on here. We will get the Cava comp. Don't worry. We've got some flowers in store to hand out to you, so don't you worry about that. We'll get there shortly. Let's continue knocking off some of these movers. The next one here is going to be SMFL. Consider this an old girlfriend, if you will. This is, of course, Smart for Life. Smart for Life shares are trading higher after the company recently said it's negotiating 4 wealth and wellness acquisitions. Gosh, 13. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Old news.
Repost. What Alyssa, help us out here. What do the kids say now? They used to say repost back like 20 years ago. What do they say now when someone's just reposting the same news or rehashing the same stuff? That's what's going on here with SMFL. We did pop in the after hours. We popped again here in the pre-market. We were above 180. We've lost the VWAP here today. Back down to a support level. We'll see if it holds this 140-ish area. But yeah, that's what's going on here. Smoke Tuna says it's not for him. I totally get it. Rehash news.
It's junk, but if it makes moves, it's going to be interesting, and that's all I really care about it. Because this is, I don't know where they're going to get the money to acquire those companies they're talking about. They have to raise cash, and this is old news. So I don't see the appeal here. If it provides the momentum, that's all I care about with this one. Other than that, it's a no touch.
Okay, real quickly here. Alyssa says, I think I'm too old to know what they say nowadays. What a time! What a time to be alive, Alyssa.
Everybody grows up.
I feel the same way.
The chat's mentioning SMCI short report.
Okay, I'll get to that here in a sec. Fender Fuchs. I think that's how. I'm not gonna butcher it. I guess this is still a repost, but I'm old as. So there's that. Yeah, me too. We're just going to stick with repost. Okay. So, again, let me just quickly go through the movers. We really only have just a couple left here. Then we'll get to SMCI. We still have 14 minutes. So we'll take a look at that here. Next one here is going to be SOPA. This is Society Pass. We've definitely traded this one here before. This ripped almost up to 2, has come all the way back in. So far it's holding 120. What do you got here on SOPA?
No news. This is just another one of those junk names. 2.9 million shares in the float. They did a 1-for-15 reverse split on May 1st. I'm sorry. And as far as upside goes, should it actually find a bottom, as it's been leaking ever since it had that pop? Looks like this morning. I would say the first thing that needs to happen is a recapture of VWAP, and that's going to be at about 141, 142, and then there's going to be pre-market high of 199 next. Those would be my 2 targets that I'd be going for: the VWAP and then the previous high.
Okay, real good stuff there. Next is going to be Tuya. This is Tuya. This stock popped as high as 210 here. They had earnings yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed. And then this morning we had news that they declared a special dividend. Although that came out last night. I beg your pardon. So special dividend here on Tuya. That's driving it up 12.4%. You got anything on this one?
Didn't really cover this one. The balance sheet looks really good. I don't know anything about this company or where they're from, so I'd be questioning that. It looks like it's okay. So it's a China name, PRC. That's where the company gets their revenue. So Great that that they're paying their investors, but I just don't trust this one.
Oh, Ken, here we go. Here we go. Hawk Tuya.
Yeah.
I
waiting for that to
saw.
happen.
You know what? I was going to say I saw that coming. Ken, you did not disappoint. Let's go. Okay, really quickly here. The other thing to mention, MNTS, this possible momentum name from yesterday. This had a really good trade setup after we got off here. Might be on deck again.
I was saying thanks, Smoke Tuna, because
okay.
It was mentioning something about Tuya.
And then also RR. This is another one that we've been watching recently. This one might go. Keep it on your list. It's moving here today. Okay. Look, yeah. What's up?
I was just going to say, Rustin was mentioning Lilium. This is the Bavarian EV toll. I still think, I don't know if this one's reverse split yet. I don't think it has. That's what needs to happen first with this one, in my opinion. And then this will probably end up trading a whole lot better once it does. I like the product. They're already getting orders. I think they have a really cool looking aircraft, but as far as the stock goes, they need to do something about that compliance. So I'd expect a reverse split to happen with this company at some point.
Okay, there we go. Let's check it out. SMCI, we are getting reports of a short report here from Hindenburg. Let's take a look at the intraday chart here on the 1 minute. Looks like as soon as we got news of that, we fell from 555-ish down here. Looks like we printed a low just under 500. We're holding that 500 level so far. Hindenburg research issues report on the company titled Supermicro, fresh evidence of accounting manipulation, sibling self-dealing, and sanctions evasions at this AI high flyer. For those of you that are pro members, that report is linked right here in the chat. Go ahead and check it out. SMCI down 8.5% here. What are your thoughts here on this? Knee-jerk reaction from the group here. Jay, I'm going to go to you. Well, 13, I'm going to go to you first here, but I'm going to set the stage here for Jay. Jay, you've really kind of been on top of a lot of these different short report companies, how well you expect them to do, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think here about Hindenburg's report? And do you have any plans for SMCI? 13, you got any thoughts here? Knee-jerk reaction here, SMCI?
Well, you tell me if, because I think you're better on the knowledge of who makes the better short reports. Is Hindenburg one of those that actually makes real short reports and they follow through?
Yeah, they're all right. I don't know that they're one of the best ones, but from what I can recall, they're all right. I can't remember the last one that they did. I'm really struggling. Wasn't there also a positive?
So I would say that somewhere around between 480 and 485, that seems to be where the support is. So if we lose that, I would expect that we that the price is going to have a date with 400, maybe lower. We're also close to a death cross here. 50-day SMA is bearing down on that 200-day SMA. I would say that probably sometime next week, if this doesn't recover, it could that cross could happen.
Yeah, that death cross is one thing. That's going to be this yellow line crossing the blue line. The other thing is we're right at this recent low. I think if we break that, we probably have a date with the 500. Jay here saying Hindenburg is very good. So there you go. Purgatory, Hindenburg is a one-man show that seemed to do good research here. So that's what's going on here with SMCI. This should provide some trades here today. It'd be interesting to see how this one shakes out. Would love to know if you guys are going to go short or long this name. Maybe trying to trade this for a bounce. Okay, what other stocks do you want to take a look at? Wiss, you're asking about Sing. Let's take a look here. This is actually not one that I follow. Single Point. Oh, yikes. Did we get some bad news in the after hour yesterday? Taking this stock from, let's see. I don't have any news here. I don't have any news on this one, Wiss. Sorry, don't have anything yet for you. I will definitely look out here for this one. As soon as I get a sec, I'll see if I can find anything on the Twitter streets as well. But sorry, my man, got nothing on this one, at least not so far. Are there any other stocks that you folks want to take a look at here today that we haven't covered yet? I don't see any here in the chat.
I thought we were supposed to look at Cava.
Oh, thank you, Comp. Oh, my God. Comp is going to slap me if I don't do that. Oh, my goodness. First of all, yesterday we had mentioned Alex took a short right off the top of your broadening formation there and booked that in the pre-market. Looks like we got a whole bunch more on a move down here yesterday. Cava Group shares trading lower amid R10 Cal International STA filed Form 144 for the proposed sale of shares. So this is going to be a proposed sale for insiders that's driving the company down or driving the stock price down here. This is crazy. We closed here 125, down about 10 handles here in the pre-market. So what do you think? Well, what do you think here on Cava? This is about where this candle would be. Yep, right there. So we retraced about half of this move. We have said that this is overvalued. Stuff can remain irrational even when it is overvalued. I will say, just kind of looking at the chart here, I think if we break that gap, we probably really plunge. I'm not sure if we're going to get that here today. This, for me, at these levels here, this would be a trade only, but curious to see. Comp, I know that I believe that you were shorting this yesterday, and I'm assuming that you still have that short open. So really awesome trading.
As far as Cava goes for price action, one thing I'd be watching for is if the Friday candle, they created a gap when it opened. So I'd be looking for a gap fill to the downside if it was that low at 110. So 110, that's going to kind of be a bit of a line in the sand for the stock price. Now, being that it's in a broadening wedge, the price action next is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be trying to find support so that it can break out to the upside of this broadening wedge, or it's going to test the bottom part of the broadening wedge, which is going to be down under 80.
Okay. So we'll see here on Cava. Would love to know how you folks are trading this here today. It'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to the list here. What?
I said, hi, Judge. You said good morning.
Good old Judge. Sounds good. Let's see. We had Cava, Tuya being mentioned here. Tuya, of course, has earnings. I think this is tomorrow morning. So you're going to have to position yourself. Just a little preview here. I plan on asking Anmarie about Tuya options on the option show here today. So we'll see if we can get a trade set up here on Tuya. They do report earnings here. My bias is always positive on this company. I would think that they would be pretty good, but we shall see. Just know that earnings tomorrow before the market opens.
I'd like to see Tuya hold the 50-day SMA. It just bounced off of it yesterday, so that is one test. I'd like to see it not lose that 50-day SMA. If it does, I'd be a little bit concerned about how high up this goes on its earnings.
And it'll be interesting to see what that does here if the market continues to move down. Does Tuya trade with it and lose that level, or is it able to show some relative strength and hold it? We shall see. Okay. NVIDIA was mentioned. I mean, we're going to be looking at this every day. Don't necessarily want to spend a whole lot of time on it. The one thing I will say here is we're a little bit lower with the rest of the market. We're actually still kind of flirting with this trend line. Technically, we're under this trend line. You do have that 120 50-day moving average. And then, of course, we have earnings tomorrow or tomorrow afternoon, on NVIDIA. So that's going to be the big thing. I feel like the market is actually kind of waiting for this one. Yeah. Okay, Vox got mentioned. You guys gave a bunch of great stocks here. Vox, what's going on here? This is up 28% here in the pre-market. Looks like we had a insider sell there.
Well, that's old. What? Sorry. I was saying they had a board of directors change. I just saw that was from the 13th. So that's old. Yeah,
strategic alternative process to maximize valuation. So you're getting a PR here on Vox. Haven't read through this yet. As part of this process, the board will consider a wide range of options for Vox, including, among other things, a potential sale of the company, a sale of segments, operational improvements, and other strategic transitions. So this is just a PR saying, hey, we're looking to do anything that we can to make this better. Stock is responding plus 31% here this morning.
Not a bad setup for this one. Let me on my broker to see what this looks like, because it seems to be bull flagging here a little bit. So let's take a look and see what we got. So 407 is the pre-market high, and it's trying to push up there right now. Actually making it's already made its way over VWAP again. So if we close this candle above VWAP, I'd be looking for the next one to try to test and push over that 407. No guarantee it does that, but that's what I'd be looking for.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Our Twitter viewers, we'll take that. AXP wants to take a look at Intel. All right, let's do that. INTC. This one, obviously, tons of bad news here. You know, this has actually been a discussion in happy hour a number of times, just because this is such a stalwart company. I think the rest of us are kind of waiting to see if we retest this this recent low here and make a double bottom. We actually here, let me see if I can adjust this here. We actually have price targets. These light blue lines are buy zones that we've established from higher time frame charts. If the stock gets down there, those levels are 1663, 1316, and 1211. Realistically, you're looking at 12, 13, and 16 and a half there. So that's kind of where our group is thinking about adding this for long term. I don't know what the short term thesis is here on Intel. Dividend is suspended. They have bad management. I mean, really, I think the catalyst here for Intel is you're looking for a management shakeup. New CEO. They might even have more headcount reductions in order to kind of lean up here on Intel. I'm not sure all of the bad news is out of here. I don't necessarily think that the bottom is AXP. Yeah, Crassy, totally agree. Crassy in the chat here saying exactly what I'm thinking. Yep. Intel needs a new CEO. Agree with you, Crassy. You're spot on there.
We have about 30 seconds to learn with Moses. I'll take a quick look at Neon for you. Just give me a tick here. Yeah, we're about to open here, folks. So get into your starting positions.
Okay. I'll get the read out of the way. As a reminder, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need access to a prop firm, need some more dry powder, Trade the Pool can be it. Go ahead and check them out. Great group of guys there. Great prop firm. Let's get this market open. 5 seconds.
Yep. And Vox is pushing. It's doing its thing that we were just talking about.
I want to watch the opening print here on ADXN, to be honest.
Neon has okay. Wow, there it goes. Vox is really popping. That's new highs now past the pre-market. Learn with Moses. As far as Neon goes, has a pretty good looking balance sheet, but they are not profitable yet. This trades really thinly. 11.7 million shares in the float. Not really sure what to make of this one, but I'd be looking for the price to take out 7. That was the high from yesterday.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't give you more.
Vox popping here, coming back in. 425 is going to be your high so far this morning. ADXN looks like that did start to go here on ADXN.
Yeah,
going towards those highs.
Oh wow, that's definitely pushing here.
Yep. I'm not sure I want to chase this move here for a day trade. I feel like that's just going to get me in trouble.
It looks like it wants to take out the 1289. Let's take a look at Trib. That one's trying to push up too. That one doesn't look very good. Smart for life. This is the move we were kind of thinking would happen.
Pulling back in, yeah.
But ADXN, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Paul is on saying GCI. This was a mention from yesterday. This did have a good rest of the day yesterday. We'll see what happens here today. Slightly lower, but nothing really to get too excited about here.
ADXN 1305.
There we go.
The high. Now this 1314. I'm sorry, 1340 was the next upside target I have. So I'm looking.
And they yanked it.
They're yanking it now, but remember, this is still above VWAP.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we have been talking about kind of buying the weakness, right? Don't kind of chase some of those moves there. We'll see if this comes back in. Maybe if we bounce here, let's see. I'm still watching it. Chris, good morning. Good to see Chris doing your best Jim Nance impression here. Hello, friends. Hello, Chris. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. So ADXN, go ahead. Oh
no! What did ADXN do?
Nothing. I'm just kind of waiting it out here. There we go. There's the 12 snap to the downside here. 1163 is going to be the VWAP. That's what we want to see if we can hold there.
Yeah, it's looking for VWAP support. I was just looking at the chat and seeing that Paul is on was mentioning GCI, and I remember you mentioning GCI, and it had a pretty good move today. Or yesterday. What I'd be looking for next with this one is a couple of days, maybe even 3, where it just kind of like it trades, slightly down, but not too much, doesn't sell off. But I'd like to see it hold. Let's say 5. I don't know about 550. Let's say this holds between 525 and 550. If it can hold that area, there might be another chance for it to go and push over 6. That's what I would gather from the way it's starting to set up this formation in the chart.
ADX retook 12 here. It's kind of consolidating where it just kind of fell out from. This actually looks like this kind of wants to go here.
Yeah, Trib also getting some support from 278. I think wasn't 280 like the level that I think Smoked Tuna or
For which one?
gave us? Trib, TRIB.
Trib.
Or am I thinking
80, oh, wow. As soon as I switched away there, ADXN ripping to the highs there. So here's Trib real quick. But let me go back to that real quick. I'm sorry, 13. Let me.
It's okay.
New highs here, ADXN. Yep. My goodness, that big rip there, and they're yanking it again. Look, one of the things that we've seen here, definitely don't be afraid to sell into some of these big volatile moves that we have here. Look at SMCI almost getting all that back so far from Hindenburg. We'll see if this can actually get that gap back and then maybe even go green. I don't know. We'll see here. SMCI.
Yeah, I don't know about SMCI. Let me take a look at a smaller time frame here.
NVIDIA here looking pretty strong. This moved through its VWAP. So that weakness is deleted here in the opening print. The pre-market weakness, excuse me, just deleted here in the opening print.
For SMCI, I'd be looking for a recapture of 550. If it can't do that, then we might be seeing more downside.
Still kind of a short bias there. Yep. Around here.
What a move in ADXN though. That was great. Looks like it's trying to push next, trying to push again.
Let me go. Let me go back. Flipping around a lot here this morning.
Sorry about that.
No, it's not. No, it's all good.
1340 is the next upside target I have here. So I'd be looking for some resistance there or a breakout. And 14 is where the gap fills. If you didn't take SFML, then you are smart for life.
Ha. I see what you did there. We'll see if SMFL ends up firming up. Here's MNTS. This was one of the movers from yesterday, trying to get back over its VWAP here.
VOXX. That was a great call because ever since we started talking about it, it has been moving up. So far, nothing but green candles on, coming after the mention. Now going higher, 449, 450 almost. ASTS. Let me see what's going on with ASTS.
Astus.
Yep. Looks like
they're taking off, rocketing, if you will.
Looks like it's trying to go back up and make those highs near 39 that it was doing last week. So what a move in this one again. This thing is just wild. So let's see. First upside target would be, let's call it 37.25, and then I would just be watching for the 39 resistance. But it looks, it's looking pretty good right now. Yesterday's candle was, it looked a bit of a reversal candle there, so we could see some more upside up to 37 at least.
Okay, Lilly getting mentioned here in the chat. That's ticker LLY. They had some news about its weight loss drug this morning here. Lilly actually going higher after initially dropping here. Let me get you that news on Lilly if you hadn't checked it out yet today. Eli Lilly says Zepbound, which is its tirzepatide drug, 2.5 milligram and 5 milligram single dose vials are available for self-pay for patients with an on-label prescription that goes through the Lilly Direct sale there. That's what's going on here with Eli Lilly. Morgan Stanley reiterating overweight, maintaining an $1,106 price target. Lilly, that's higher here out of the gate.
Speaking of higher out of the gate, VOXX has not slowed down.
APDN, this was mentioned from multiple people in the chat. Jonathan's all over it. That thing's vertical right out of the open. What was the ticker you just mentioned?
Oh, that was VOXX.
VOXX.
I'll just say Vox. How about Vox? Does that
works for me?
All right. What is the Applied DNA Sciences moving on the MPOX thing again? So what's that mean? Is GOVX moving then too? It's up to almost 2.5%. How about VRAX? VRAX, not so much. But whenever I see one of those names move, I check the others as well.
ADXN, let's see where we're at there. Smoke Tuna saying on Vox, wait for a pullback to 4. That actually makes a lot of sense. Pinduo flirting with 100. That's ticker PDD. Had a massive move down yesterday. That's still battling with the $100 level here. Hain being mentioned as going vertical on Hain. Indeed, it is. Okay, so we've got some stuff moving around here today. That's a good sign.
It is. It's always nice to have things to trade. Better than expected Q4 adjusted EPS. Okay.
Yeah, and now that I look at this, Smoke Tuna, you're exactly right. This thing really needs a pullback. VOXX, VOXX. Trib getting mentioned here, Tuna. Trib did hold that level. We're trying to close back to VWAP. Let's see if we get it there on Trib. VWAP's at 333, 310 here.
Looking for some resistance between 315 and 325. It gets through that, then it's just going to have to deal with VWAP. And then after that, 350.
Hollow getting mentioned in the chat here, looking like this is over. That was a really awesome trade plan and execution that you had there, 13. Hats off to you for that.
Oh, thanks. It's
really good stuff on Hollow, but I agree here with Peter. It looks like this is probably done.
Yeah, it probably is. And, this is always a lottery ticket play. I never expected it was going to get, up into the hundreds of dollars or the $100 level that it had. That was an anomaly. But, the pattern sort of repeated itself, and I'm still going to hold just a little bit of it, a little piece of my lottery ticket to see if there's going to be any carry through into September, since that's kind of when the move is supposed to end. It's supposed to end toward the middle of September, so we'll see. But already took a little bit of profit on this. I'm glad it worked out. I hope other people that played the silly game also did really well, and hope you treat yourself to a nice steak dinner.
VOXX here continuing to move higher. So despite this really kind of needing a pullback to give us some entry for this, we're not getting any of that. VOXX continuing to push here, 480, your new high now.
Oh, and that thing comes back in. It could come back in with authority. Amazon short trend. That nice job there, comp on Amazon as that continues to move to the lows here. Michael Storm, good morning. Good to see you here. ENSC gave up the ghost, gave up that VWAP indeed. We'll see if this can reclaim. The one thing we see here on ENSC, it is holding this level. I guess it did lose this one, but it's holding in here. I'm going to stay away from this one. Good luck, though, for you penny players. AST has popped, moved all the way up to 34.87, and now it is coming all the way back in, and it is back to start.
Real quickly here, Tom was asking about the levels here for Trib. Smoke Tuna gave you that one. That's going to be right down here, what, like 287, 285? I can't remember exactly what the number was that you had mentioned there, Tuna, but this ran right off of it, right to the VWAP there. That's going to be worth a register ring right there, Tuna. Well done here this morning. Tom, sorry, 13. Tom, next level above here, I'd call it 362, and then maybe this double top here from the pre-market 472. Maybe you get a little bit in here at 404, that round number 4. Those will be your upside levels there on Trib.
Big supply at VWAP for Trib. It's 330, so trying to take that out. Might see a little bit of pullback here, like we're getting right now in Trib, and then if it tries to go again, I'd expect the next time around trying to take out VWAP, that may be more successful.
Whoa, look at the reversal on Tesla. This ripped out of the gate here, completely reversed that candle, now going lower here on Tesla. 210 right now on Tesla.
All Mag 7's red today.
All Mag 7's red. Chris was just mentioning Qs were on the lows of the day. SPY was too, actually Qs and SPY trying to bounce off this low of the day here. We'll see if that is the low or if that gets cracked again. Hain had earnings this morning. Is that why this is just absolutely vertical and ripping here today? Good $2 move here on Hain.
No pain in Hain, just gain.
Nope. Oh, wow. Well done. Well done, 13.
Well, let's see how high this thing goes.
SMCI, let's see how that's doing after the short report.
Wow. Okay, so Hain coming up to a little bit of a supply zone here. It's going to be at about where it is at between 9 and 10.
9, 10, I see some size there, but it should be deleted given the strength we're seeing here this morning.
I'm talking just that whole dollar range from 9 to 10. There's going to be consolidation. So, and that's going to be from February to March. We got that consolidation. So I'd be watching for some pressure there. Now we get through that. We're gonna still have even more. This thing, if the volume does get increase substantially enough to get through all these supply zones, this thing can maybe go as high as 1250. I'm not saying it will, but if the volume is robust enough, it could.
SMCI seems to be one of the things people are wondering about here. Jay Harris, can someone help me out? Are we looking for SMCI to go further down? So that's kind of like the difficult thing here with short reports, right? Like I would love for there to be a setup. I guess maybe the loss of the VWAP here was a setup to move back down towards 500. At this point, though, for a substantial move lower, we got to see a crack and a move below that 500 level. I think that this is kind of a no trade yet right here. We might still recapture VWAP. You get any type of buying volume in here that recaptures VWAP, I think this thing could very easily test the high of that bounce. Don't see the greatest setup here. I think if we break 500, though, especially if we back test that 500 level and then stay below it, that's probably a really good short entry here on SMCI. I'm going to kind of wait for this to shake out. We just got that report shortly ahead of the open.
I'd like to see it go lower. That's probably going to be wishful thinking on my part, but I'd be looking for a loss of 480. So if we lose that level, then we're going lower, in my opinion. Look at TRIB. Look at that reversal off the VWAP. Great stuff.
Oops.
Great stuff. So we were talking about how it could push all the way up there, and then as soon as it hits VWAP, it might see some pullback here. Now, if it does, hold
Vox to VWAP. Sorry.
Yes. Now if TRIB holds 3, I'd be looking for another retest of that VWAP, and if it does do that, we could see it break over at that next time around. I just don't think it's going to happen this time. I need to see that support from $3.
Okay, I want to see if we can get a bounce here in Vox. I actually want it to test this level here. We'll see if this ends up breaking back up. This was the pull that we were waiting for. So far, it's held VWAP.
Looks like SMCI is trying to push higher. I'm just going to wait on this one, because I want to see what this does. And I'm not going to just keep talking about it. Oh, it might be moving. It might be moving. No, I'm not going to do that. There's other things to look at.
Yeah. What do you think about Vox here on a bounce from this VWAP?
I'm
kind of tempted.
It could, but
438 is the VWAP that I really wanted to see tested here. Let's see if this 440 level breaks down. And this is a good point. Amanda, good morning. It's a suspect to me that the SMCI report comes out prior to NVIDIA earnings. It's going to chop. Indeed. Part of me can't help but wonder if there's any type of foreshadowing in there, although the complaint was pretty specific about SMCI here. And damn it, there's that bounce for Vox. Did not get the entry on the VWAP test. Just kind of waited it out. Here is the bounce that we were looking for on that. So...
Well, I'm sorry I couldn't give you any more of a definitive answer on this one because I was looking at the volume. I was looking at the volume and it was just not appealing at the moment. So I was worried about maybe it going lower, coming back down to 4 before it went higher. That's not what happened here. So sorry I couldn't give you more context on that before it did the thing.
All good. I was waiting for this VWAP test, which we didn't quite get. Now that line's going to be drawn back up there, and it's going to look like it. Exactly. Smoked tuna. So smoked tuna, this is exact. I had the little tuna right here, just being like, don't chase, buy weakness, don't chase. And I'm making that voice because it's small.
You know what I just saw in my head?
On the shoulder.
I just saw you getting a can of Bumblebee tuna, putting some of those googly eyes on it, and just strapping it to your shoulder just for smoked tuna.
Bumblebee tuna to you too.
Yeah.
This was good stuff here on Vox. Did not get the entry that I was looking for. Did not quite trigger. Did hold 440 and then bounce pretty substantially. I would say if you were in this, if you took a little bit more aggressive approach to this, trim on this one, especially on the way up there. Yeah.
That's QQQ up to 842 with the high. So that's nice to see that we're getting some action there. Okay, what's going on?
This is the comment that we're all laughing about. I have no idea. Ryan, right. My mission is done. Handshake. Tuna doing everything he can to put the group chat on his shoulders and carry us to the promised land.
All right, so just I think when I'm looking around at these movers that we mentioned today, ADXN, that might be getting some support. Not sure though. Smart for Life might be turning around. ENSC maybe. SOPA maybe. Some of these look like they're in the process of turning around. TRIB, on the other hand, looking like that's in the process of just trying to hold support so it can try to take another stab at VWAP.
Real quick here, Jay mentioning my favorite stock, Costco. That is higher here, flirting with a 900 level. Jay, it looks like that you had a 920 print in a pre-market. Maybe we'll get some new highs here on Costco. Let me roll through some of those stocks that we were just talking about. APDN getting called here by Tuna. That's going higher. New highs for APDN.
What does the daily chart on that look like? Okay, so APDN, recent high is 354. So let's see if we can get back up there and take that out. Be ideal. Just looking at these other moves we were talking about, and none of them looking really good. Box 498. ADXN only got as high as 1327 before we are pulling back. So no complete gap fill there for us at the moment. Maybe not today. We'll see.
APDN, I feel like needs a pullback before that becomes tradable. Here is ADXN. Did not hold that VWAP. So right here, this action that you're seeing here on ADXN, this type of behavior, which we've seen recently, is the exact reason I just missed that bounce on Vox. I wanted to see it come into that level and hold it and not do one of these. It didn't quite get to that level and then bounced, and as a result, I missed it. But in an effort to stay disciplined, we're not going to get upset about that. We're just going to not chase stuff.
Yeah, and Trib looking pretty juicy here.
Okay,
it's been it's been that way for a little bit ever since it started pushing up off of.
I'm gonna front run some of this. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm gonna front run some of this. If we drop beneath 303, we'll think about stopping out of this. But let's see if we can get back to that VWAP. First add here. If we move above, or if we take out this 323, maybe we can add into a strength move.
Yeah, it's really got to get a lot of volume to push up through 325. We have the 65 EMA and the VWAP right in that area there. So we're going to need to see some pretty big volume expansion. But if we get it, which we're getting right now, it could really take off. It took out some of that, not all of it.
Yep.
Though.
They took that out, and now to what you were saying here about the volume expansion, we are starting to see this candle expand. 20 seconds left, so any big volume push here is actually going to expand that candle, at least on my 3-minute chart.
Yeah, this would be a good one to raise stops on, because remember, this is no, it's got a pretty not the smallest float like these other ones, but this one has 3.8 million shares in the float. So if it could, it's it could knife, but it's not gonna. I don't think it'll knife like some of those other like sub 1 million ones could. Just need to see that expansion and that push up over BWAP. BWAP is at 326. Look at some of these other ones while that's working. Looks like ADXN might be trying to turn around. Smart for Life is turning around. Ensysce.
Here, I'm actually going to place a stop on this just a little bit, so I can kind of move around here. I don't necessarily want to be stopped out of this, but because we weren't getting that big push over VWAP, because that's what I think is going to have to happen next year with Trib, is that push over VWAP, and we need to see the volume expansion of that. So when we're not getting the volume expansion, I think that's a signal to raise your stop. And here is 320. They just put another order in there, so we'll see if we can clear that out. Okay, let me go ahead and check some of these other stocks that you folks have been mentioning. Here is MNTS. That continues to go here.
Smart for Life, really turning around now.
SMFL turning around?
Yeah.
Yep, going back to the VWAP.
Headed back to VWAP.
When I answer this, oops, it's the second time that I've pulled up ticker TR when I've meant to pull up Trib. Let me answer this question here. JJ saying, Ryan, why do you use the 3-minute for Trib? And do you always use the 3-minute? I think 13 predominantly uses the 5-minute. All right, so the genesis of the 3-minute chart actually came from Smoke Tuna in the chat here. I also, my entire career for intraday charts, I have used the 5-minute predominantly and the 1-minute. Here we go on Trib. We took that size out. Let's see if we can get above 330 here. I tried to add more tools to my toolbox. Smoke Tuna was doing a really good job being able to kind of delete head fakes from some of these moves by using a 3-minute. So in the prop account, when I had an opportunity to set up some charts here, I decided to add the 3-minute. So on some of my other screens, like on Pro, when I flip over to Pro, you'll notice that's mostly on a 1-minute chart. I have 5-minute charts in some of the brokers here. So I try to use a mix of them, but I show the 3-minute chart here because I think that we're going to get less like false breakouts or false breakdowns. And if I can kind of save the group from that, I feel pretty good about that. So here we go on Trib. It's selling off here. We'll see if it gets stopped out. If it loses 3, I've got my stop at 294. If it holds through, there we go. And stopped out here on that huge pullback. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, the break over the VWAP, that didn't work out, and we started to notice that as soon as the volume was not robust enough to push through it. And that's when I was raising stops. If anybody else is doing that, I think that would be the better move. Is when we aren't seeing that the move that we're getting and the volume's not expanding the way it needs to in order to get above that level we were talking about. That's, I think, the biggest indicator that you need to read a stop or raise your stop, or maybe take your profits and get out. That's exactly what happened here. Now we just went down and tested the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Yep.
And so it looks like so far it's trying to hold 3 here. So it actually, my goal in putting the stop beneath 3 was to not get kind of flushed out of this. You'll notice that it went down to 3, broke 3, went beneath, flushed me out, and is now back above 3. We'll see if this ends up going now that I've been removed from it. This was also one of the reasons why you took a small starter on the entry here. We did not get to VWAP yet. We didn't break VWAP. We're kind of front running that. So you take a starter, lower position size there. We'll see if this sets up again. It very well may. Jay's Life, weren't you calling Trib? What levels do you have for Trib? Here is Haynes. So this is flagging. So after this move up here, now we're kind of consolidating at the top end here and flagging a little bit on Haynes. We'll see if this breaks above.
Yes, TS going lower, new low of the day. Vox at 501 highs, coming back into VWAP a little bit. SOPA is a big NOPA. ENSC is still trying to turn around. Yeah, Trib kind of sideways at the moment after flushing out some of those folks from earlier after that VWAP test.
Yep.
So that's about it right now. It looks like Smart for Life still trying to push up the VWAP. Volume's not looking particularly great in a lot of these. So whether or not we start hitting these levels at this point is kind of a big question mark in my mind.
SPY here popping off those lows. This is actually would be an intraday double bottom if you include the pre-market. Remember what I said before we opened here, wondering if we're going to kind of draw people into a bear trap. We've kind of seen this before where the buyers just kind of take over. This is what the SPY chart looks like. Here's what the Qs look like, both of those at highs on this bounce.
One, 3, 10, and 3, 4. I like those levels. Yeah.
All right, Vox coming back into its VWAP. Let's see if we can get it here to its actual VWAP this time.
Here we are. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say CLPT is taking off. Indeed, that's here at the highs. Let me go back to Vox. What was that, 13?
I was just mentioning with SPY. Here we are at the 560 level that I had mentioned as one of my levels to the upside, getting resistance there, seeing a little bit of a turnaround in the price. Now, I don't necessarily think that this is just going to be the reversal and go down. We're going to wait to see if this gets some support. And if it does, then we're going to be looking higher towards that 565 and 16 cents all-time highs, the next level. But not sure how high it's going to go up if it breaks out at 560.
Looks like it's kind of stopping there and finding some resistance at that 560 level, just as you mentioned. Vox got some upper wicks here. We'll see if it can hold the VWAP, maybe give another trade here on Vox.
Smart for Life.
I've got the VWAP, by the way, at Vox, the actual number 453. So we're still about 20 cents above that VWAP here.
Okay.
Moderna puts coming across the unusual option tape. More SMCI puts. Those were, although that might have been a closing trade, though. Those were 540 puts. Let's see where SMCI is holding out at. 520. Excuse me. XPEV, this going higher. This had a good day yesterday, going higher again here today. Smoke Tuna is saying Vox 435. Smoke Tuna, is that your buy spot on Vox 435? Looking for that to hold, I should say. Maybe not a buy spot. That actually equates to about right here, bottom of this candle. So we'll see if we end up getting that here on Vox. ADXN. See if this goes through the VWAP on ADXN.
Yeah, if it gets back to VWAP or over VWAP, then we're back on for that gap fill.
NVIDIA, this actually looks like this is going to try and go higher here on NVIDIA. See if the market continues to bounce, if that takes NVIDIA with it.
NVIDIA now the only Mag 7 that's green. It looks like Microsoft, Meta, and Google and Apple could also follow. Amazon and Tesla the most down today of the Mag 7. Okay, what else is there? Smart for Life, testing that VWAP right now. Looks like 160 has a big old wall to get over, and that's going to be a little bit higher. That's going to be more in that that consolidation from pre-market. So see if it can get through that. Testing VWAP at the moment.
So Brian, what do you think here? ADXN, you think we bust through this VWAP and go higher? ADXN?
I think it's going to need at least 500,000 shares in volume for every 5 minutes to get through something like that. The last candle was only 220.
Volume has kind of dried up here, although it is, I guess, ticking up in this window. It has so far been rejected at the VWAP. That could change in a hurry, though. Brian saying it looks to bounce. We'll see if it can get above the VWAP here.
Smart for Life actually printed above VWAP, got to 65 EMA, getting a little bit of a pullback right now, but there's still a matter of seconds left before this closes. See what happens after that. Yeah, looks like it might just kind of bounce around here.
Here we go. Are we going to take this?
I don't know.
Smart for Life?
Maybe. Volumes have been expanding since it found a bottom.
Yeah, that last candle was some selling volume here. Definitely finding resistance at that VWAP. 153 to high print, 151 the VWAP.
Looking around at these other ones. ADXN still trying to do the same thing. Trib still trying to hold 3.
So look at Vox again real quick. Did not quite get down to that VWAP and is bouncing again here. So Vox not getting the VWAP test that we're waiting for in our trade plan, unfortunately. Getting close, but no cigar. And still doing its bounce thing.
Here we go with SMFL. Also saw a mention of Boeing, how that's having a not very good day. Guess the Starliner news finally caught up with it.
Coin going on. I think you meant going down. I'm not sure what you meant there, actually. I don't want to assume. Vox continuing its bounce to the highs here. Trib did a really good job holding that 3.
I think he's just saying he went long on coin.
Okay, so you're buying the coin pullback here?
I think that's what he's saying.
This is right at the 200-day. I think I see where comp is looking here. See if we can hold that here on coin.
Go ahead.
Vox can go. Definitely seems that way. We'll see if we get above those highs. Tuna, I'm not confident on buying for a high break. I was trying to hit that VWAP, which actually looked pretty good. Yeah.
I'll say with coin, I don't like the fact that it's been the 200-day SMA has been harassed as much as it has been all month. I'm not sure. I would have a lot less confidence at this point that the 200-day SMA is going to hold up. I don't like the constant testing of it. At some point, when you hammer a moving average like that, the price could fall underneath it. So I'm not confident right here on this one. It looks like it could go lower.
SMCI, pretty good recovery so far off this short report here. It looks like that is trying to go green. We'll see if it does.
You might see a reversal in coin once Bitcoin tests 62,000 even. I'd be watching for Bitcoin to do a reversal, because if that reverses, then you'll see Coinbase also reverse. But I just don't like the way that the Coinbase chart looks at the moment. To me, that's a very clear bear flag.
Lion Atlas here saying choppy market. Remember, that is what Joel called that early on here today. That call looked good to me. That is what we're seeing here so far. Indeed. Vox, probably at least a nice area to book some off that VWAP bounce. Didn't quite get down there again, but
Vox like the only one above its VWAP that we've been identifying on the move for movers this morning. Everything else is having a time trying to get back above their VWAP. ADXN trying, Trib trying twice, rejected. SMFL getting rejected right now. They're all just looking weak.
Please, Ryan, no more Mullen. And it wasn't Jay that said that. It wasn't Jay that said that.
Have we been talking about it that much this morning? I didn't realize.
No, it's recently. I mean, since its last split, I feel like we've been mentioning it. We kind of make fun of it, and then we mention it, which is what it is.
It's okay if we bully stocks, right? We can bully stocks.
Bully. Oh, bully. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so.
Stock, right?
They
don't have feelings.
What?
As long as we're not bullying the people trying to trade them.
No, of course.
That's all I care about.
Tesla pounding lows here.
Oh, look at Peloton with a little bit reversal and trying to push the VWAP.
Brian's been all over Peloton here this morning.
It's been getting a lot of looks lately. So it's certainly been a trade vehicle lately. Oh, look at this rejection in Smart for Life. Now back down to the 200 EMA around.
And that's the thing. Like that VWAP pop there. What was that? 3 cents? Like that's kind of what I mean about these upside moves. Really want to see them go. And
here comes Trib again to try. It's next time. It's next round here. So we'll see. Volume's really low in a lot of these. Like just kind of left the market a little early today.
Yep. Not to say that can't change, though. Remember, we saw some of the best trades, like an MNTS, came in the lunch hour.
Here goes Vox.
Oh my gosh, this is giving me conniptions today. Here is Vox. We'll see if we can get above that $5 level. There's some size there, 498 and 5. We'll see if they take that out.
Oh yeah, good call. Running out of that caffeine fuel.
I'm on tea. I got to take a break here, otherwise I'm going to be so jacked up. Just keep pounding coffee. Might even get a stomach ache.
Smart for Life. Not looking too great right now.
What's going on with this?
SOPA looks like it's having a pretty successful time turning around. MACD's showing it that it's curling now. Might need to get back up to 120 before we start seeing that MACD cross.
Look at the pop on Vox. That was it. Boy, we were on that one. Just did not get filled. Good plan. No execution from no fill. Man, oh man. That's the way it goes.
570
though.
575 is how high it could go, I think. Seems to be a pretty good spot. Oh, it's got to get through this wall here at 527 first.
Yeah, it looks like it did actually print above that. That might have been a refill. That's a lot of stock there, though.
Oh, I just shifted around. There we go. Now we're going a little bit higher. 530 current high.
Really good stuff there for anyone that traded Vox. I'm kind of getting my ass kicked this morning, but that's all right. It's like as long as you guys are doing it. ADX10, did we move above the VWAP? We did.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw that at the same time you did.
I saw Nabil out here calling it right on time.
It looks like Trib's going to try to get above VWAP as well. But this one, man, this one's volume is just hasn't been great since that second attempt at VWAP. So box, SOPA still trying to push up. ADXN trying to push through VWAP. It's pulling back now. So
yeah, it's pulling back to its VWAP here. Volume's still low, but I mean the price action here has been pretty good on ADXN.
SQNS getting
is that even doing anything today? No,
it's going down 3.39%. PRTG
still printing highs, man.
PRTG. This one is when we traded, I think either earlier this week or last week. Volume is not really great, but its setup doesn't look too bad. Maybe just kind of keep an eye on it. Yeah, Trib just kind of hanging out there. What do you say, Vox? Okay, so Vox 533 now.
Market Sniper, didn't you ask about BNS earlier? Let me know if you asked about BNS earlier. This actually looks pretty good after this recent move above the 200-day. We actually took out some of these highs here from, what is that, July? So BNS looking pretty decent here. I would put the next spot up at this consolidation zone right about $50. Actually, and looking at this intraday chart here on this 3-minute, this is a really nice looking coil here. Let's see what we can see on some other charts here. Yeah, 5-minute looks the same. What does the 1-minute look like? Yeah, it's some consolidation here. It's a pretty decent coil here on BNS. This actually might be setting up to go higher.
So Bitcoin just had a looks like a capitulation knife right through 62K. I'm just kind of curious to see if this is going to spend a little bit of time trying to recover from, and retake 62,000. And if it does, that might be a reverse signal in Bitcoin, in which case it'd be a pretty good reverse signal in all the Bitcoin names like Coin, MSTR, CLSK, Mara, and Riot, and some of the other ones. But so far, that has not stopped from dropping yet. So we'll see. But that's what I'm looking for. Recapture that 62K.
ADXN, this broke away from that VWAP. 1178.
Okay, looks like some of these are recovering that were selling off earlier. AST is kind of trying to recapture VWAP. I was trading above it just a moment ago, but came back in. Oh yeah, there goes Trib. Trib with that weak volume. Now it's going lower. Lost 3. And probably headed below 275.
Yay, now I can say the first stop is your best stop. Hooray. Let's see if it bounces off this level down here. What have we got? 277?
For Trib?
For Trib, yeah.
Yeah, well, the intraday low is 278, so I'd be looking at that for sure. Sure, 275 would be fine.
Okay, I'm gonna try some here. I like pain, so I'm gonna try some here. Hey, it's one of those days. We're going to just do a starter. If we get down to that level, we'll add, and it holds, we'll add. If it just starts to go away, we'll take another loss on the same name. We'll see if we can buy the flush here. Smoke Tuna took some at 285. Tuna, I got some at 288 there. Nice fill on that. Just trying to buy the weakness, right? Just trying to. We need Bumblebee Tuna up here telling me to buy the weakness.
You're going to have to start getting the Ace Ventura 2 soundboard together.
Yeah, that's actually, when you first said that was the first thing I pictured was Ace Ventura going, Bumblebee Tuna to you too.
Bumblebee Tuna.
See if we can claw some of this back here on Trib. Love for this to get back to the VWAP.
That'd be a good exit.
My screen is red today, and I ain't short. Ain't that the truth here, Jane? You and me both. Actually, given I'm seeing some considerable red. I guess Apple's gone green now. Considering I'm not really, like, my swing account stuff that I'm holding is not really getting blasted. Some of it's down a little bit, but really nothing of concern. Knock on wood. Now that I've said that, I'm going to be in big trouble later today.
Apple, Meta, Nvidia are the green ones right now in the Mag 7. Google and Microsoft might be turning green shortly. They could. But Tesla and Amazon are pretty far away from that happening.
Lion Atlas needs our opinion on you too. I mean, decent band, but I think they've kind of had their run, don't you think? Oh, you mean the stock UTWO? Is that actually even a stock?
It's a Treasury note ETF.
Ah, U.S. Treasury ETF. No experience with this line. I would turn this over to the people that have actually traded this before. I have no experience with this.
Yeah, same, but I'll give you a technical assessment here. When I look at the daily chart, I see a double bottom. I see a recent golden cross as of Monday, the 12th. And I see a, could be a scallop formation that's happening here with the, this looks like a cup, but it's more of the recovery that I'm looking for. I think we could end up breaking over 48.65 if this continues. It certainly looks bullish, but it's can be tied to rates and whatnot.
So here's the bigger chart for you. I see exactly why Lion Atlas is asking. This, generally speaking, is a chart formation I like, right? Impulse move into an area, pull back to kind of reset, and then a takeout of that. Definitely like seeing this, but to your point, this is going to be tied to the rates.
Yeah, but it does have some pretty good bullish indicators.
Will we see a trib reversal? Look, motion. I've got a starter position to play that. I don't know if we'll see it. It's been a Tuesday ass kicking day for me so far. So we'll see. You know what we'll do? I'm going to try to change the mo here. 13. I'm going to step away for 1 sec. Let me actually put trib up. I'm going to see if me stepping away causes this to do something. I'm going to leave trib up on the screen. 13. I'll be BRB.
Okay. I hope it doesn't do anything he's not going to want to see. 278 is the low of the day. So looking for some support there. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Smart for Life looks like that one's putting in some. It's kind of bottom wicking, so that would indicate that the sellers are trying to push this up higher. But volume's not looking great. Might test view up again, but not too confident at the moment with that one. ADXN, that one also looks like it needs to go lower before it goes higher. Sorry, we couldn't get that gap fill on that one, but I don't think the day's over with this one. Just have to see how low it goes. Less than 10. Probably not going to do a whole lot more for the rest of the day, but stocks like this have always been able to turn around and come back later. So we'll see about that. What else are we looking at? ENSC, that one's actually getting some support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. See if that will reverse and take us back up to BWAP. And then SOPA, SOPA, that one has just kind of been in a sideways consolidation channel ever since we opened and dropped down beneath the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Hey, there he is. How'd that work?
Well, it didn't. Trib ended up going lower here, 276 the low. We'll see if it holds this and starts making a move up, but maybe a re-break of this and we'll kind of sit out. I didn't want to put a stop this time because I didn't want to get flushed like I did the last time, which was on the same name. So I opted to just kind of hold it. We'll see if we bounce from here.
So far, you're getting a little bit of strength there, but
a little. We'll see if it plays out.
We'll see. Yeah. Getting asked about AAPL, Apple by Daniel Torres. Let me take a look at Apple and see.
Apple, one of those Mag 7s that went green, 13.
Right. I just want to get a little bit more in-depth look at this, though. See what it's doing on 5 minutes, see what it's doing on a daily. Because I was just looking at a watch list and I said, oh, yes, it's those numbers and letters are green. Oh, no, they're red.
Jay saying, Ryan, you need the bird to help you out. Cleo is actually in the other room. So he's not providing any help here today. We'll see if that changes. By the way, Cleo's brother? Yes, I think Cleo's brother might be visiting soon. I'll keep you posted on that. Trib, we did stay above that low, so we'll see. We're staying in it, at least for now.
So looking at Apple here, I'm looking at a 5-minute time frame, and I'm just trying to back it out a bit so I can see what the price action from previous days looks like. It seems that last week, like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we were kind of topping out around 228. Now, we're not quite there yet, but we're close. So I'd be looking for some resistance there around 228, just based on that price action we were getting last week from the last 3 days of the week. So that's what I'll be looking at with Apple. Hopefully that's helpful to you.
There you go. Let's go back to Trib, see if we get that bounce that we're kind of waiting for here.
What ended up happening with Bitcoin? We're going lower? Yeah, we're still going a little bit lower.
That's still trying to resolve lower here. Chris, one of the things that you were mentioning here was PanW. I know you're long on PanW here. That is curling up here, looking pretty good.
Oh, that reminds me. We do have earnings of a particular interest after the market closes today. Sentinel-1, which is
ticker S.
Yes, that has recently put in a double top. It's kind of interesting because those tops are from mostly pre-market. I'm talking Thursday, August 22nd, and yesterday, the 26th. The pre-market highs were up just a little bit past 25.65. Looks like about 25.65 is where those highs were at. So depending on how earnings go today, that's going to be a level to watch for if it provides resistance or not, if the earnings are good enough. If they're not, then I think that's your indicator of the double top. It's going to take this stock down some more.
Real quick here, Vox starting to pull off that move higher. Let's see what happens when this gets to the VWAP. Stop if you've heard me say that here before. We've actually had 3 VWAP moves that have resulted in really good upside trades. See if we get another one of those on Vox. How's Hain? That was another one that went vertical here. Okay, so flagging. This is actually doing a good job consolidating up here. Yeah. Oh, so you're getting back to even there, Chris, on PanW. I think you might actually get that here today, and of course, yeah, using the profits for that trade. Can't remember if you took the Anmarie butterfly on that, but that did pay.
Hain hit a resistance level at 9. That resistance level kind of put in from February and March's price action that was kind of bottoming, and then it fell out of that level and it went down to 570, the 570s after breaking down beneath 9. So 9's an important level, it looks like.
Coin long trimmed here. Comp, that was good stuff there on Coin. You really did a good job picking the bottom there, frankly.
Oh, it did get a little bit of recovery in that one. It's still a little close to me to the 200 day SMA for my liking, but yes, nice bounce and great job on trading that.
Smart for Life 13. Does it go this time through the VWAP?
Let's take a look. Let me see what I got here.
Dan Ives has some interesting dress choices on today. Shout out to him, though. He can pull it off.
He's wearing a dress?
No, he's wearing
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know how to describe it. A Monet style shirt with multicolor and a pink jacket.
He's
it's something else.
Yeah, that's a good point. They wouldn't hold any of those bags. Drop all your luggage off, folks.
Yeah.
SMFL still not looking. The volume's not great in this one. So, I mean, if it's going to go to VWAP, it's going to be a pop and then probably come right back in. We need to see more robust volume than this.
SMCI, this has done a really good job after that short report that actually is trying to go higher. Okay, on Vox, do we get down to this VWAP here? There's some size on the bid or on the offer there at 490.
What do you think about SMCI backfilling the gap it created today and then reversing?
That's possible. See that?
Uh-oh.
See if Vox pulls in anymore. IWM is trying. That would be really good. Trying to get above its VWAP. GDC getting called by Crow. Crow, good morning. I don't think I've said good morning to you. Hope you're well. ADXN is done. Tuna with some finality to that statement. Boy, I tell you what, the chart sure looks like that's the case, Tuna. I think you're probably right on that one.
There we go. Okay. My broker app was having that weird thing where I wasn't getting any of the account data to show up. It's fine. I didn't have any open positions, so no panicking.
Always good to hear. Crib's still holding out down here. The only problem with this is it's great it hasn't broken down and our entry really isn't bad because we bought the pullback instead. That's all true, but unless this thing gets some volume, I'm not sure we're going to get the bounce back. We'll see, though. We'll stay in it and wait for this to resolve.
ENSC still trying to hold the 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
Oh, A-Lab.
A-Lab?
A-Lab. This kind of just broke out of the sideways that it was sideways formation that it was putting in there. A-Lab trying to go higher here.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at this one.
Let's see what the Twitter streets have to say today. See what folks are trading out there.
Okay, so levels for A-Lab. Let's see what I've got. Okay, so right now I can see that 45 is going to be quite a level for it to get over. This is a high from the 15th of August. We haven't visited that high since then. It was done in the regular session. 45 exactly. And then after that, we're going to have a little bit of, I wouldn't really call that consolidation, not until about 47 we get some more consolidation. So we could see a move from 45 to 47 with maybe a little bit, with very little resistance, but as soon as we hit the higher end of 46 going into 47, we might see that resistance pick up and slow the price action down.
Got to be honest with you, I am surprised at how little trading chatter I'm seeing on my Twitter feed here.
Because everybody's anticipating for NVIDIA. They are all puckered up for NVIDIA.
The other thing is that they're looking for Vox. They're kind of looking at Vox.
Gotcha. Trib trying to recover. ADXN trying to bottom, it looks like. SMFL still had not recovered VWAP.
The ticker that I have pulled up here, Maru, is TRIB, TRIB. SPY went green, tuna, green by 8 cents right here. Indeed, we'll see if it holds. See if that holds here.
Let's see what else. I'm going to take a look at the SPY, see what that looks like, since that's
cool. That's popping here right now. Literally, as we're talking, that's popping here.
Microsoft turned green. Google is just turned green as right now, and that just leaves the two that I was talking about that have a ways to go: Amazon and Tesla. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at Tesla and see what that's been. What kind of levels I can.
Tesla's finally bounced off 207. It looks like. Vox near VWAP. We'll check that out. Where was my cursor? Yeah, I don't want to type that into the wrong thing here. Let's check on Sonder. This has continued to go here. Gosh, when we first started talking about Sonder, we talked about this in a 4 handle. It's almost 10. It's like $9.50. It was a really good move there. Turnaround Tuesday, greater than Taco Tuesday, says Jay. Tuesday's Hard Knocks Day, though, guys. Tuesday's Hard Knocks Day. Hard to be in a bad mood on a Hard Knocks Day.
Christopher, RSP is not going to turn green because this whole move is just basically the Mag 7 getting pushed up. I agree. It is frustrating because imagine that 7 stocks dictating the broader market. Sucks. Anyway, Tesla, it sucks. Tesla, to me, I think the 200-day SMA is going to get tested. I think 203 is up next. If it cannot recapture the 500 and the 20, that's where I think it could be headed. Might not be today, but could be tomorrow. I'd be looking at 203 for support.
Amanda saying you can buy your own tacos on Turnaround Tuesday. And now that has been said, I'm once again hungry. So the question to the group here is favorite tacos. Now, 13, you have a distinct advantage being in Texas. I will say that the Mexican food in the Chicagoland area is tremendous. I'm curious to know favorite tacos for people out there.
There's and they'll tell you too. There's a very big. Trib just got a big bid at 290. That this one could start to move. Just so you know.
Got it on the screen.
The thing about Texas and California is that you're going to get two distinctly different types of Mexican food. That's what you're going to hear a lot of Tex-Mex over here in Texas, but in California you have a lot of the Tijuana, street food type coming over and influencing a lot of Southern California. I do like both. I might even go so far to say that California might have a bit of an edge, but I think when it comes to Mexican food, you can't go wrong with tacos, and it's going to be. I like very simple. I like beef. I like onion, cilantro, and they have varying types of green sauce, but that's just what I prefer. I like very simple tacos.
RR, by the way, right at VWAP. We'll see if RR can actually push above here. On the taco conversation there, I'm with you. Simple. I'm not much of an accoutrement guy. I like simplicity there. Onion and cilantro, some of my favorite. Just shouting out the chat here. Birria tacos. There we go. Fish tacos. Jesse doesn't. Yeah. He's not going to answer the question. Just tacos, just straight up tacos are where it's.
It doesn't matter. As long as there's no tofu in them.
Pork, yeah, you guys, lime chips, comp, you got it, man. Oh my God. All right, I got to stop. See, this is the problem when we start trading food stocks early on in the morning. Like I'm near the end of my fasting period, and I'm hungry, and now I'm thinking about tacos and all this delicious stuff.
CMG, since we're on the topic.
You had to do me dirty by bringing up CMG. This actually looks pretty good here, though.
Yeah, this one, I'm eyeing the 50-day SMA as a potential resistance area. That's going to be about where it pushed up to on the 12th of August to make a high of 56.34. So we'll be looking at that particular level as where we could get some resistance. May not be today that it gets there. It could be tomorrow, but that's what I'm looking at.
Hayne, did anyone notice this? Yes, we talked about this. This is a really good coil here. Really good coil. Trading sideways here. I think that this might break here at some point. I think that this might break some here at some point. JBDI IPO. Thank you, Jay Wild. Did this just open here? Ryan only knows 4 Spanish words. Uno cerveza, por favor. I'll tell you what, if you only know 4, you got pretty good ones there, Jay, I will say.
The cheese is old and moldy. Where's the bathroom? Remember that movie?
No. Which one? What is it?
Encino Man.
No. No.
And he goes to the bar. Anyway. Hayne, making that move you were talking about, 932, the high to get over, looking like it's making its way there.
Encino Man. Did not think I was going to get a mention there on that this morning.
Oh gosh, that was such an awesome movie. I think that really put Pauly Shore on the map too. Box trading beneath VWAP at the moment. Hayne, looks like it's running out of steam.
By the way, I just want to say how awesome everyone is that's here right now, especially those that are kind of indulging in our discussion about delicious food at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning. You folks you're the true believers. True believers. JBDI second halt, indeed. Indeed, Jay. That is its second halt to the upside here, 616. Let us know when that opens, would you? Vox at its VWAP. What do we think here on Vox? Think we get another one? We did break beneath it. Do we try one of these? Here, I'm actually going to try a little bit here. We're going to put a stop right here. What is that? 467.
Carmen, you out there? I think Ensysce is trying to make another run for the VWAP.
Let's call it 465. We'll put a stop there. We'll see if this goes here on Vox. Pauly Shore is GOAT. Definitely didn't think I was going to see that this morning either.
He's not the goat. He's the weasel.
Ooh.
Wasting the juice.
Ooh.
All right. SOPA. I almost want to say SOPA, but that one looks like it's headed to 120 if it can get over this EMA that's in the way that's been pushing it down all morning. The 15 EMA on the 5-minute.
Smoke Tuna, if Vox fakes out, we have a very, very small starter and we have a stop beneath the recent low. So I should be in a spot here where it's just kind of a bummer instead of crying if it really goes by. Jay, appreciate you. JBDI is open. Oops, and I put that in the wrong. Where am I typing? Where's my mouse?
ASTS with some movement now. Again.
Here's JBDI. So this came right back in. This thing's all over the place. Wild. Yeah, I would like to second Crow's question here to 13. You ever go to the mothership, to Joe Rogan's club?
I have not.
Oh, my mouse is in a distant land. I definitely want to do that sometime. Maybe we'll visit and go do that.
I haven't even been to any of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants, and that's, you know, I like watching him sometimes because he cracks me up.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Chris, Pan W at 350. Got back to your spot there. Well done, Chris.
Nice.
Well done. This JBDI. Let me know how this goes. This looks pretty wild here.
Look at this recovery with Bitcoin back over 62. So this is what I was looking for to happen for those Bitcoin names to start recovering. Now it's going to have to make its way through this consolidation we got through we had there all morning, and that's going to be from about 62,250 to 62,500. So about a $250 range of consolidation here that it's got to get through. But this is what I'm watching for in terms of recovery for Bitcoin. That's going to help lift these other Bitcoin names up.
Look at Costco. You just love to see it.
Did it hit
For
1,000
those of us
yet?
that love Costco, you just love to see this.
They need to get a contract going with you for how much you pump this.
Pump, huh? Anyway, Purgatory Park says, let's do a meetup in Austin. I'd be for that. I would for sure be for that. I wonder how many people we can get from our community in Austin. That'd be fun.
Lion, that sounds like a great plan. That's not a bad idea at all. Yeah, I go out to Austin several times a year.
I was going to say, how far is Austin from you?
Oh, it's like a 2.5 hour drive.
Oh, that's not even that bad. That's like Kalamazoo from where I'm at. Sweet. Oh, that's all we had to do. All we had to do was talk about Costco. Comps out here shorting it. Let's go. I'm, of course, long Costco from a low 700 entry.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad idea. It is getting to overbought territory. RSI is almost 72.
Yeah. I'm in Costco for the long haul. I like to be a partial owner of the store that I go to all the time. Sing is pushing your mention. So that was the one the Wiss has been on all day. Wiss, you were on to something here.
I'm in Houston.
Low price, but
H-Town.
did they call is that what they call Houston, H-Town?
Sometimes.
Okay. Chris suggesting a cruise, Benzinga Bahama cruise. I probably will not be able to get approval for that.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to embarrass myself. MRM has a setup here. This is not one we've covered. It's just something I noticed.
Not today.
It's not even up that much. It just has an interesting bull pennant going on here, so might be something interesting. Because, you know, volume's low on a lot of things now, so I'm just kind of cycling it through to see what's setting up.
In fact, speaking of the volume being low here, Trib in danger of losing that 276 low that we've been kind of hovering above here. We'll see if it ends up doing that. Vox, remember, Tuna warned us of a... Why does it keep doing that? Tuna warned us of a fake out here. We're hoping for a push away from the VWAP here on Vox. But we got another stop in here. We've got both these positions protected by stops. So if they don't work, they don't work. It's kind of been a rough day as it is, but we're out here trying. We're trying.
Houston suburbs where I'm at, the air is just fine. But I know it's big oil and gas. I agree when it comes to like the port area. That seems to have its own scent. I guess we'll say
scent. Oh gosh.
But no, I'm in the suburb area, so it's a lot less congested.
MNTS popping away. Ooh, this is going here on volume. Whoever called MNTS just a second ago.
Oh, look at this, making mountains. MNTS.
Market sniper. Market sniper just out here, dude.
127 is the pre-market high. That's exactly where it ran to.
Paul is on with GCI. So again, really nothing has gone on here. This has been very, very slow trade, very, very low volume. The one thing that I do see here on GCI, yesterday's intraday high 591, I have it at. And we're currently at 586. Maybe we can get some action here if we're able to pop above yesterday's intraday high. Chart looks pretty good here on this move up, but not a whole lot of action here, Paul is on. Nothing really worth checking back in. We'll see what happens when it breaks that high, if it breaks that high, I should say.
Yeah, line Alice, ENSC is trying to move up a little bit here. Volume still is a little bit low, but it's making its way to VWAP. So there is that. What else here?
I'm getting messaged.
Everything is really slowed down. Okay, SPY, what are we looking at here? We are now at 561, so the recovery is real. Yesterday we had a high of 563.91. Seems like 562 is going to be the big level.
RR is starting, says Clean Slate. Let's take a look at RR. We did have that one on the list here. Oh, indeed. This is pushing away from its VWAP there.
Yeah.
It does seem like the morning momentum has faded. Indeed. Yeah. SPY here currently hanging out at 561. Q's came back. Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. 168 to 178. That looks like there's going to be some there could be a number of big orders or big selling to happen as RR moves up. We get through that. The high to break is 180. We'll call it 181 because it's got a fraction of a penny back behind it. All right.
Apologize for yawning. The volume dry up here has got me all tired.
Hey, I think that pretty much put a point, a period right there on the sentence of how this market has been moving.
Yeah.
Take it off, Judge. We'll see you later, man. Thanks for coming in.
Take care of yourself, Judge. Really looking forward to the fantasy football draft on Thursday. Judge, by the way, I believe you were in second place last year, weren't you, Judge? I think you were. You had a stack squad last year.
I just couldn't get out of injuries way.
Tell me about it, dude. I struggled last year, bro.
I had some really good running backs too, and then it seemed like without clockwork, they would just get injured. Shortly, like a week or two after I picked them up, and it was just like at one point I had a bunch of RBs that were just like super good RBs, but they had all had some kind of issue. So I was trying to haggle them, trying to make some trades. Hey, this guy's going to do really good. Nobody wanted him. It was rough.
Ryan, can you get down to the Tour Champ on Saturday? Where is that? August 28th. That's going to be East Lake Golf Club. That's in Georgia, right? That's in Atlanta. I am not going to be in Atlanta. No.
MNTS,
that would be fun.
With a breakout of that pre-market high, and now it has made a new high of 131. Let's see. How high does this go? Let's take a look at the left and see if we can find some levels. So far, I have 135. And I would say after that, 154, which is the high from yesterday. And then 160. So there's 3 right there. You know, Amanda, there's one league that I'm in that does, and one that it doesn't. And what's great is if you have that particular returner that is also, you know, like a wide receiver, because sometimes you do get those lucky guys that you know are part of that special team and the offensive core. Those return yards really do help out. I've been lucky enough to you know get a really good amount of points off of a couple of those players that were on those special teams and receiving yards.
Thank you, Comp. Thank you for saying that. One of the things I will say here is that we, you know, we're able to keep it more like community oriented and family oriented with the numbers that we have. But yeah, we'd obviously like to grow that, and we appreciate everything that you folks do.
Ira, great job.
Our lead, what?
I said, Ira, great job. He went on calls in the spite, the open, and now he's out. Quick in and out, made that money. Comp and Lion. Take care, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Guess what Ira gets? A cash register ring,
absolutely,
a 1-up, and Chewbacca's glory. Gets it all. Nice trade there, Ira. And then my league, the happy hour league and the leagues I'm in, we don't have return yards. I'll tell you what, as a Devin Hester fan back in the day, those were some good bonuses to have.
That's a good
guy. That dude was out here putting up points.
He correct me if I'm wrong, but he had the record for a little while of yards returned for a TD, right?
Stopped out of Vox really quick here. I think that record is 108, and actually, I believe it was Nathan Vasher of the Bears that temporarily held that record.
Oh, okay, because I think who holds it now? I want to say, gosh, what's his name? I believe he was on the Texans. But I think it's I know I can see his like face in my mind, but it's the second time that he did it because he previously held the record, and then he broke his own record.
So the longest kickoff return here we go. Just really quick before Zunaid comes on for All Access, let's just go over this real quick. Here's your list. This is your leaders for longest return ever. Cordarrelle Patterson, another former Bear there with 109. So maybe it was a punt kickoff. I don't know. Anyways, oops.
Anyway, this is welcome to live trading. We're talking fantasy football.
We're talking about fantasy football. Look, I can't help myself. Football's so close.
Oh yeah, it is.
We've got some time, so I'll kick it with you guys. Is anyone YOLOing anything on Nvidia today? I'm just curious. Or it's not today. Sorry, tomorrow.
No, I am going to ask Anmarie when she comes on about NVIDIA just to see if we're going to put on some type of multi-leg options trade ahead of earnings. We'll see. But no, I've got no position going for that at the moment.
Okay. Well, I need to get my itch in. So would you mind screenshotting me the Slack, or would you mind slacking me the screenshot of the trade just because I'll be busy in meetings and I can't be on the show?
Yes. Yeah. But you're actually leaving this opening for me to say, remember, Anmarie is part of Benzinga Pro, which you have access to. Just saying. But yes, I will do that for you.
Thank you, Smoke Tuna, for that. I'll take a look at it later.
Really?
Zunaid, I love it. I mean, sometimes you just have to do the right thing.
Someone's asking me what my budget is. I spend $50 every 7 to 10 days. So yeah, I pay
your
more.
Hair?
Yeah, I pay.
You get a beer with that?
I pay more for my haircut than I do my internet.
You get a beer with that?
They trim it up. They fade it in. Yeah.
You heard about those places, right? That serve you up while you're waiting for your turn to get your haircut. There's like a literal bar there, and then you're up, and then you're drinking while you're getting your haircut. It's called Tune Up.
I did not know that.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh, that is the thing. You're welcome.
Yeah, we'll get going with the All Access here in about 2 minutes or so, and then we'll come back with Anmarie. But what were you saying, Ryan?
Yeah, I was just because I wanted to answer Daddy Backstrap's question here. I have a question about your career. When did you stop working your salary job? I didn't. I work here. And furthermore, like, how did you make the jump? So the first time I tried this, I actually left a really crappy bank job that I have, and I realized that it was just going to be too difficult. It just simply didn't have enough. Well, I actually spent a lot of time kind of thinking about this. I really think that if you want some round numbers, you really need to plan for, well, how can you cover your bases if the worst happens? I would say in order to do this, you would really at least need 500 grand. That would just be kind of a ballpark that I'd give you. I never recommend that you do that. I think you should always have additional streams of income. And I've talked to 40-year market veterans who say the exact same thing. So
yeah, it just
always
makes it
have something else. Yeah, absolutely.
Like for me, I was a full-time trader, and then I joined Benzinga just because the pressure of always needing to pay my bills was impacting my psychological aspect of trading, and therefore I would make trades that I typically wouldn't just because I needed to pay for my haircut. You know what I mean? So having a little bit of cushion, having a little bit of buffer definitely made me a better trader. No question about that. But 13, final thoughts from you, and then we'll go to Ryan, then we'll kick things off.
Well, it's been a bit of a whipping around choppy day. It looks like RR is trying to push up. I hope that everybody had a good day, and I'll be around tomorrow to see if we can get some more trades and just talk about NVIDIA earnings. Hope everybody has a good one.
That'll be fun. Ryan?
I'm going to use my time here to echo what Amanda just said. Use trading to enhance your lifestyle, not to fund it. Find something that you like spending your time with every day and get multiple income streams. Also, the final word that I have here, remember, we talked about this being a potential bear trap day as the SPY was really kind of leaking in the pre-market. SPYs bounced. We're actually green here, SPYs and Qs, so keep that in mind. We'll see where we close, and I'll see you when we get back with Anmarie.
All righty. See you later, Ryan 13. Ryan we'll see here in about maybe 15 minutes. And then 13 we'll see tomorrow. And chat, you know we love to get you not just insights in terms of technical analysis and what's happening in the charts, but we also love to talk to executives from publicly traded companies to go ahead and find the alpha to see what the story really is going on with the company and get your questions answered. So please feel free to participate in the chat, as well as we've got Bill, who is the CFO of Mainz Biomet. Ticker is MYNZ. All access starts right now. Bill, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Great to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. There's a lot to talk about. I know you had some recent data come out, and we'll get to that here in a moment. But for the folks that might not be familiar with what your company does at home, give us a quick, brief overview.
So at Mainz Biomet, we develop molecular diagnostic solutions for life-threatening situations. So the way to think about what we do is we've developed what is our flagship product, our first generation product that we launched in Europe for screening for colorectal cancer. What we've done is we've taken that first generation product and added some significant enhancements through acquisition of intellectual property, as well as strong partnerships with an AI algorithm developer to bring what we believe is going to be a game-changing next generation product to the US over the next several years.
And I kind of tease how you released a lot of clinical data this year. You kind of briefly mentioned one there, but you also had a submission for FDA breakthrough, a device that is, I think that was released on the 9th of July for CRC screening tests. So a lot's happening with the company, a lot of data. Give us some highlights on what's going on.
Yeah, so let me go to the data. The reason why our data is so important, first let me look at the colorectal cancer screening market in the US is over $30 billion a year. It's double that when you look worldwide. You may be familiar with the company that dominates that market in the US, which is a company called Exact Sciences, EXAS, whose product Cologuard has been on the market for more than a handful of years. And they now have about 10% of that market. Now, what's coming next as one of the innovations or developments in the market is blood-based liquid biopsy testing for colorectal cancer using a blood sample versus a stool sample. Cologuard, of course, is a stool sample company, and there's one other company that's coming up behind them also with a stool-based. We're a at-home, easy-to-use stool-based test. Two tiny little tubes that you take a sample with, drop it in a tiny little box into regular mail, and send it back to us. Now, getting to the data, the blood-based tests will demonstrate through their surveys that adherence will likely be much higher than the stool-based tests because it's easier and it avoids the yucky factor. However, the reason why doctors will continue to prescribe the stool-based test is because of the differentiation in the clinical results. So here, just talking about stool versus blood, stool-based tests are far better at detecting early stage cancer. And remember, in colorectal cancer, you detect late stage, there's a roughly 10% survival.
Wow.
When you catch it an early stage, there's 90% survival. Stool-based tests are fundamentally better. Now, where we differentiate ourselves from the other stool-based tests is in the detection of advanced adenoma, precancerous lesions. Not every advanced adenoma develops into colorectal cancer, but every colorectal cancer does begin with an advanced adenoma. The blood-based tests have demonstrated between 10 to 20% of efficacy at detecting advanced adenoma. Cologuard and the competitor coming up, Genioscopy, have demonstrated in the 40% range. In the 3 clinical study readouts that we've done between 2023 and 2024, we've demonstrated consistently accuracy above 80%, a quantum leap over, first of all, the other stool-based tests, which far outstrip the blood-based tests. That's what we've been so excited about, and what we see others in the key opinion leader community really grabbing hold of.
Yeah. And I know, like, I think I mentioned this on the show as well. Sometimes, I mean, I deal with a form of IBS as well, right? So sometimes when it comes to this topic, you have to get over the mental hurdle of making sure you go get the right treatment or whatever else you need to get the testing done and things like that as well. So it's great that you're kind of working on these other tests to kind of make it a little bit easier for the user to get the data they need early on, so that it doesn't end up impacting them in a dramatic way down the road as well. With the rising, rates of colorectal cancer, how are you guys? Because let me back up a second. Sometimes whenever a company has a lot of great things that they're doing, the supply may not be able to meet the demand. So what I'm saying is, with the rising rates of colorectal cancer, are you as a company kind of ready and in position to be able to provide as many tests and resources as may be needed by the consumer?
Yes, and let me address that on 2 fronts. First of all, because of the higher prevalence now at younger ages, rightfully, the screening age has been adjusted down to 45. We anticipate over time it'll likely be lowered because of that prevalence. Because of that prevalence, it makes the gold standard, the highly invasive colonoscopy, far more difficult to schedule when you have more people to bring through. So using a non-invasive screening test like ours with a high level of sensitivity will decrease the burden of those who have to go for a colonoscopy. If you test positive for a screening test, you go for a colonoscopy. You test negative, the doctors will say, all right, you should test again in another 3 years. Now, as it relates to our product in particular, there's a key differentiator. If you look at the company the product that everybody knows, Cologuard, and Genioscopy following them, they follow a CLIA-based centralized lab business model. Every test manufactured by them, sent out by them, returned to them, test results delivered. What we're planning to bring through an FDA pre-market approval study targeted to begin next year in 2025 is a test that will be a kit-based test. So think about the little box I showed you. It'll have our product name, but then it'll be white labeled, and we'll be able to distribute through all of the national reference labs, which are the channels that most of the screening and diagnostic tests done by patients are performed. So we have what will be the only product that will fit into the largest distribution model.
Yeah, and you have some folks in the chat talking about how they've dealt with some type of, they used Cologuard or they used different things and it was a little bit invasive and, different things like that. So completely makes sense. Is there anything else in the pipeline that our viewers should know about in terms of as potential investors in the company on what may be to come, whether that's till the end of the year or till the end of 2025?
Yeah. So as we look at the rest of this year and into 2025, there's a number of key milestones that we're focused on. First of all, being a small company attacking a very large market opportunity, a vast majority of our senior executive focus right now is on alignment with the right strategic partners to position us for what comes next. And those come in two different types. One is looking for the PCR platform that we will partner with in order to be the platform that we take through our FDA study. Obviously, a PCR provider or platform is looking for more content, and given the size of the market and the number of tests that are done annually, clear benefit to them, and obviously their support would be of great value to us. And then, as or more importantly, are the national reference labs, the very large ones, to use names that everybody would recognize, the Mayos, the LabCorp, the Quests of the world. Finding the right partner that will work with us in the commercial go-to-market strategy. Obviously, in our business model, we want to be with all labs ultimately, but early stage, focusing with one of them in order to position ourselves for a successful commercial launch after FDA is a key next step milestone that we're focused on, which leads us to having the partnerships in place so that we can move forward with our FDA study that we can perform between 25 and 26, be able to submit to the FDA for approval.
Bill, I know something that we always say on this show is kind of like explaining to me like I'm five, because so many different things on Wall Street, at least for me, kind of go over my head. I'm just looking at the comments that our viewers have left. I really appreciate you kind of breaking it down, and not in just in terms of what the company's doing, but also in terms of what the products themselves do and the differences in terms of accuracy and early detecting as well. So I really appreciate your time here today. Before I let you go, though, any final thoughts that you didn't get a chance to cover? I didn't get to bring up any topics that you want our viewers to know about?
No, I think we hit. I really appreciate the time here on Benzinga. I hope that people who are watching continue to watch.
Yeah.
We're keenly focused on these milestones, and we are seeking to deliver as fast as possible.
And Colo Alert is one of the ones that I am familiar with based on my research beforehand. But are there any other products that you would want our viewers to know about for them to check out?
Well, I made reference to blood-based tests. Obviously, the ones that gather the most publicity is the Guardant test, as well as Freenome. And then on the stool-based test is Exact Sciences, EXAS, and then Genioscopy, which is a private company that has just cleared FDA with the exact same business model as Exact Sciences. And we understand looking to launch their test over the course of the next year.
Awesome. Bill, appreciate your time. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got it. That is Bill, who is the CFO of Minds Biomet. Ticker is MYNZ. And, whether it's someone, the viewer watching at home, that deals with something in this space and you want to go ahead and get tested and get things detected much early on, feel free to check them out, but also do your due diligence to see if there's a company that's worth investing in. As I mentioned, we do have increasing rates of colorectal cancer as well. Ryan, give me a thumbs up.
I'll just bring myself.
Or just bring yourself.
I'll just bring myself back on. I'm ready to go. That was an awesome interview.
Thank you.
He was great. And I've seeing the participation here from the chat. Really awesome stuff just across the board. Well done, Zunaid.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it really is. It makes investing so much easier when you truly can break down, like, okay, what's your advantage compared to your competitors? Like whether it's the accuracy rating, whether it's you're coming to market earlier, whether it's your partnership, whether it's your margins, like those are, and thank you. I mean, again, I appreciate those type of comments. Always do your own due diligence. But I appreciate it. And again, don't forget to screenshot, Slack me, Anmarie's trade on NVIDIA.
Will do. Well, I don't even know if we're going to do an NVIDIA trade yet, but I will let you know what she does. Once again, thanks to Bill. Great job there.
You got it. We'll see you next time. Anmarie, good to see you. Bye.
All right. Zunaid, excellent interview. Leaves room for the one and only Anmarie. So we're just going to keep going here. Anmarie, happy Tuesday. How are you?
I am well. How are you? Do you hear my mic all right?
You sound like you're in the room with me. This is a perfect mic volume, so it sounds absolutely great. Anmarie, I'm not sure if you heard, but we have a big event tomorrow called Earnings for NVIDIA. I hadn't talked to you about this ahead of the show here. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe I've got 2 stocks that are reporting earnings tomorrow that I think maybe we can set up trades on. So I'm all for that.
Love it. Let's go for it.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get your screen up here. Ooh, I like that heat map. I like that heat map.
Yeah, it's a good looking heat map. So let's take a look at NVIDIA. Volatility has spiked massively in the last 12 hours or so. And so we had this trade on for September the 20th. I'm going to leave that alone. But what I want to do is stack something else and build a totally new butterfly because the action has gotten so expanded. Now, they are only pricing in a $12 move. So here's what I find to be very interesting. One, market makers pricing in, oops, that's the wrong date. Let's go to where we are here. And yeah, volatility, implied volatility has jumped almost 35% overnight in this chain. And so it's going to be very expensive if we try to do anything within the first 3 days. September 6th or September 13th, going to give us our best pricing event as well as an opportunity for an outsized move. So let's review the charts. We know how we do it. Simple is as simple does. As I embrace the Forrest Gump trade. I like simplicity.
Me too.
I am often ridiculed for it, but whatever is what I have to say about that.
Yeah,
And
especially when you get the last laugh so often, that is kind of a whatever.
You do you, buddy. Okay, so here's what we have going on. And here are the conversations that we've had around this. We saw this channel. I listened to an analyst this morning that says he believes that NVIDIA is right priced at 160. I think that's a little high, but this is not about so much what it's actually priced at, but what will traders do when the number comes out? And so already in the news is they have 100% earnings upshot. What other things have they put out? Earnings per share set to rise. So there's a lot of news that's permeated the market prior to the trade. So if all of that news is no surprise when it comes out, then this chart is not going to move higher and stay higher. It's going to move higher and then collapse in my estimation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they come out and they go, hey, listen, instead of that 200%, I said 100%, but I think it's 200%. If that 200% is actually 350 and they have all kinds of new customers, that's going to be the number because all of the analysts are saying the right price is 160. All of the data that we're staring down is not suggesting that kind of move. So let's think about, we've already got the position up from I don't know if we put this on last week or something, but we did put this on maybe the beginning of last week, maybe Tuesday. And it's holding about the same price. So we're going to leave that steady. We only bought a couple of each is what I am hoping. So folks are not very extended in their motion. Now let's look for outsized moves to the upside and downside, but based on what the actual pricing of the options. And those are telling us that it's a $16 move that they are looking at. So if we have a $16 move, we can go, oh, I don't know, 110 on the downside to maybe we do 101 since, oh no, we can do 100. We can do 100. It's probably not going to hit 100. I can say that. And then
I think it was under 100 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it was under 100 2 weeks ago. So this $10 move ought to give us all of the motion that the options are pricing in from that perspective. And if it goes to 100, then it's a 2x of the move, and we're sitting in Fat City. Now, let's say it goes 2x to the upside, right? So we try the $18 from here. That's 140. So we'll go 140 to 150. To 160. Now, this is fairly expensive for the options move because we're sitting here at September 6th. So let's go to the 13th. No, same price. So they are thinking that if this move gets hit, it's going to hold. So I say we go down and maybe we go 145, 155, 165, 79 cents. Now,
okay.
How much has this chart moved in times past? So I'm looking at a weekly chart, and we had this earnings event here, and it went from 92 to 106. So that is about $14 on the week. Since the split, price action has shifted a little bit, but not that much. So if we sit here and we say, okay, this thing moved $16 or so, is it reasonable that we have something that's going out $20? And I am of the mind that that answer is no. And so, although it's expensive, I think that you could probably add a little risk if you went down to 65. If it went to 60, you'd basically be break even. We could always roll those contracts and do triage. But if you want to get in on the long side, it might be this one that you're looking at, which is fairly expensive for us, but logistically and statistically, it's telling us that that is the spread to take. If you're of the mind, hey, listen, everybody's been talking down the semis and it's time for them to roll again. What do we do? You know, it depends where your head's at on this game. Now, I'm going to tell you how I feel, which is probably wrong. I'm going to say that because I look to statistics, because my feelings are often very wrong. But my feeling is there's been so much leaked into this earnings event that if it expands, it is very likely to contract. So let's look at one more. And let's say instead of going to the 13th, let's choose the one that's 3 days. Wow, that's still
So I
$1.09.
wanted to ask you a question. This is actually a really good example for the question here. When you're faced with this, where the different expiries are about the same price,
Yes.
how do you always go for more time? How are you figuring out which expiry to take if they're all priced similarly?
Okay, so the philosophy there is if the expiries are the same as we move out in time in this little patch here, it's a thought that the traders are saying to themselves, you know what? This price, when it starts moving, it's going to keep moving. And so 150 is a big fat round number.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought is that is what the traders are expecting. Now, here is the bad thing about taking August 30th. If you take August 30th and this chart comes into the 130, maybe it goes to 135, but then it just dies on the vine. This is going to go to zero in a big fat hurry. So the risk of losing becomes wider the closer you are to the expiry. So my go-to is always to go as far out as you possibly can in this kind of environment. In this kind of environment. So it's still $1. If it's going to run, it's going to run. If it doesn't run, but it pulls back and it holds and starts running again, this butterfly is going to hold its value.
Gotcha.
So that is my thought. Let's go out a little further and see. So if we go out the week after expiry, right? No, let's go 2 weeks out of the September, right? And it goes to, wow, it's moving all over the place. It
Yeah, it sure is.
continues to rise. Yet a lot of traders are betting that this chart surprises. Now, here's the thing. They have always surprised. They've always surprised. And so now we think, all right, if they really have always surprised, is it worth it to say, all right, well, I'm going to give it some time if it always surprises. And as we can see on the weekly chart, this thing has been nothing but by the dip.
Yep. And by the way, Anmarie, you're absolutely right about that. If you actually take a look at the calendar in Pro for earnings, here, let me see if I can really quickly show this. I'm going to go right back to you real quick, but this is literally showing your point. Here's NVIDIA's earnings history. Okay, so going back to 2011, it has surprised surprised negatively on EPS twice. That's it. And the last time was 2022. I mean, look at this. So when you say that they always beat, Anmarie, you are 100% correct on that. Oops. Oh, let me, oops. Sorry. I got to add yours back.
Yeah. Yeah. So my thought is, you know, maybe it does creep. Maybe it does creep to that edge. And if you're going out and you're saying, well, Anmarie, if they're calling that, then why don't I take the big fat round number that they might be going after and anticipate that it gets priced to fair value, and we do the 150 to 160 to 170, you know, it becomes 72 cents, but now, you know, you're looking at something that's really expanding, and because we have it out in October, if it flies through into that 150 number, this is only going to increase by it's going to give you about a 50% move upside because it's so far away. The delta is only 24. And so if it moves $25, $25, a quarter of that is, what is $6?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that could go. That could go to 200% easily. So it all depends how you think about this, right? If you think, hey, this has been, look at also what's been happening. If you look at it this way, let me remove all of these. Let me remove all the drawings. All right. And if we just look at a measured move and we say, all right, we've been hanging around here for, let's put a box. This range from 132 all the way down to 91. And we think it's going to be an outsized move to the upside. The pullback point is 113, which would be great for the 110.
Mm-hmm.
And the measured move will take us right into that fat space.
Yep. Wow.
50%, that put us right up there at the 156 to 160. So if I were a betting man and I said, all right, here we go, that's going to be the next measured move to the upside. And chances are people bought hand over fist when it came into this 90 area. They started buying right around here on the fade. And that volume was 2 billion shares. When the average
2.2.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so the week after that, it was another 2 billion shares. So I think the floor is in for this one at the current time. And this upside pressure event would certainly deliver a longer term view on what the chart has. If we're in a zone where people are starting to think, all right, maybe we look for the next darling, whatever, it should still move up, but then it's going to stall. My thought is, if you're going for it and you've got the expiry all the way out in October, why not go to where the analysts feel that the stock is fairly priced?
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Can you go back to the trade screen real quick so we can see what that actual trade is?
All right, so the actual trade now it's 67 cents.
I was going to say, which expiries did we decide on here?
Okay, so for the put expiry, that side, but for the call expiry, since this number is we're looking for it to climb into fair value, we're looking at October the 18th.
Okay, the monthly contract then.
Yes, the least vol, it's 67 is the least vol in the near term, and that is, half of the implied volatility that's sitting in the chart right now. I think that's the fair bet.
Okay.
Downside surprise, is it worth 62 cents? I think so. I think $62, if you're looking at both of these and you're saying, all right, if it fades, it's going to fade quickly and everybody's going to come in and buy. So you want that to be short. You want it to come in. You want it to have the max event there and you get it out. But if it rises, it's probably got continuation. So last thing, let's look at what happens post earnings for the last, let's not go 3 years. Let's go, let's go 3 years. Let's look at this. We had a little bit of a dip this earnings, went for several weeks sideways and then broke out. So in October, we have how many days? 52 days, right? And so that's almost 2 months. And that, that'll be something we would need to watch if it begins sideways motion and it doesn't break out. But the last couple of earnings, the price action has done nothing but accelerate to the upside. Nothing but accelerate to the upside. And in times past, we've seen a couple of weeks up and then a fade. So we'll know almost immediately whether this chart has got upside traction and it holds, or if it's going to break. Because the personality of the stock is post earnings, I might go sideways for a bit and then I'm going to run up.
Yep.
Post earnings, I might go sideways for a bit and then I'm going to run up. Post earnings might go sideways for a bit and then I'm going to run up. So this October area is going to give us time if it moves sideways and then it runs to the upside.
Okay. That was an extremely in-depth breakdown. Zunaid is going to be absolutely thrilled. I do have another one. We've got time here, I think. I wanted to take a look at Chewy, which reports earnings tomorrow morning.
All right. So Chewy, well, okay. So here we are looking at Chewy. It's been a little bit of a mixed bag for Chewy,
yes,
right? So we had this horrible fade and then this area of balancing right over here. And we're coming down into earnings. We've had, all right, this could be some kind of flag pattern, but let me delete all of the drawings. And what is this moving average? 50. Okay. So it just tested the 50, trying to recover. It's got resistance up here, and then this wide pocket that it ranged from, right? So here's the range. Let me put the 50% of the range here, eyeball it. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at that. And let's draw a box for a measured move. If we duplicate it out. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at that. A lot of measured moves in here. Somebody's
Indeed.
very analytical. The big players in this chart are very analytical about price. And so let's draw a trend line. Excuse me. Let's draw a trend line. And then 25. Let's see what it's done. Earnings up, earnings down for many weeks, and then up, earnings up for 3 weeks, and then gave it all back. Continued down. Up for 3 weeks, gave it all back. Continued down. First fast bounce. Continued down. Continued down before bouncing. And continued up. All right. Again, very sideways. So this to me is a little bit of a crapshoot. Let's see the size of the moves now. We've got high to low, about $6 for this one. For this one, we've got $2. For this one, we've got $2. So let's go back to that earnings, Benzinga Pro earnings tab. Let's have a peek at that and see what that looks like. I wonder if there's a time of year that these guys tend to do well. June, May. May. Okay, so May seems to be their big month. Yeah, this formation here makes me very nervous. I would say either a retest of the 50 or a test of this upside 30. And right now, $4 is what the ATR is. Let's take a look at, whoa, holy smokes, almost 200% implied vol. They're calling for $4 on the move. So let's see what the weekly option, and of course we know if we don't have the volume, no volume. Let's go to the monthlies. And they have priced $4.50. So everything is moving just according to their numbers. So because I have a brain that's a sieve, 20 and 30. All right. If we do butterfly, we won't need to do butterfly here. We could just buy it outright. 22. Might want to do a butterfly on the 30. If you did a strangle, it would be $1.36. Unbridled upside or downside. Okay, gives you a lot of time. And if it moves, it's going to move into these two spaces. So October will probably be much more expensive. But the end of why? Because we're going to have to add time to this strangle. And so that would be that move. If you're thinking to yourself, Chewy's got to bounce. I don't know that Chewy's got to bounce. It's got a tremendous amount of implied volatility. It's almost, it's bad to do that. It's almost worth the crush, but the puts here for the earnings are at the 23 marker. And for the calls, everybody's in here at 28 to 28.50. So they are using the market makers' numbers because they're very close to the straddle, right? So the straddle is almost $4, and that's what they're pricing in. The 28 to 29, 28 to 28.50, that's where they're thinking it's going to go. I don't know. I'd almost short something in here because the ball is so monstrous. But that opens a ton of risk. Here's the thing. All the traders are thinking the same thing. And here's what's lovely. Because you have a strangle, if it moves exactly to where they say, so let's 7,000 of them here at 30, right? 6,000 of them at 27.50. If it moves and you're out here, it's going to be that's one side of this is going to do really, really well. If they go into the money off of that 30, it will almost double in price. So this Chewy, I would say the strangle is the best bet.
Okay.
From that perspective. Nothing super cheap here because it's got so much implied vol, but the flip side is it's totally unbounded. I mean, if the chart falls out of bed, you're in Fat City. If it shoots the moon, you're in Fat City. If it does nothing, then this vol is going to it's going to slip. It's going to slip a fair bit, but you could say, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for, maybe even I'm looking for 2x but my stop maybe is 50%. Because it's so far away, you could say, you know what, if this drops to 65 cents, I'm out, or 70 cents, I'm out. And if it moves, you're doing great. Okay. My suspicion is that the continuation, if it fades, the continuation down could easily continue to the bottom here. So okay. You'd want to watch, if this falls and it comes right into your 20 at earnings, then you want to watch it for maybe a day or two, maybe 3 days. And if it doesn't collapse anymore, just close the put. If it does collapse, you know, you could probably trail that put down a little bit and get an alert somewhere at this very heavy congestion of 1685, which I will put an alert on right there. So that's my thought on Chewy. It's a, you know, we don't normally do butterflies on stocks that are this inexpensive, but also carrying massive implied volatility. So it makes it a little bit different. Notice this vol is, especially here, it's 50% higher than NVIDIA.
Yeah. That's 50% wild.
50% higher.
All right. Well, good stuff, Anmarie. Those are, there you go. 2 plays for earnings here. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.
Tomorrow's going to be exciting. Do we have time for the other one, or are we out? We're out.
We are. Yeah, we are actually over here for a little bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
it's attention.
No, it's quite all right. We're out here giving trades away for free. If you want to see more trades, a perfect time to plug. If you want to see more trades from Anmarie, go ahead and check out Benzinga Pro. Her room is part of Benzinga Pro, and you can get this all the time. Anmarie, we'll see you on Friday for another one.
Yes, sir.
All right.
See you.
Sounds good. That is Anmarie, everybody. Thanks for joining us here today. We are going to be back tomorrow. Stay green, stay safe.